Good morning. This hearing will come to order. Before we begin, I'd like to ask for a unanimous consent for members of the Washington delegation to participate in today's hearing should they be able to attend. Without objection, so ordered. Today, the subcommittee continues its oversight of the Department of Veterans Affairs implementation of the Electronic Health Record Modernization Program. Less than 4 months ago, we held a hearing on the very same topic with much of the same panel here today. The focus of that hearing on November 20th was to assess preparations for the planned March 28th, 2020 go live in Spokane, Washington. Each of the panel members testified that she or he had the authority, the willingness to hit the pause button if so required, which, as we will discuss today, is what happened. However, that's not the entire story. While I have always maintained that getting it right is much more important than meeting a deadline, it is equally important that the VA remain transparent about its progress and problems. As the subcommittee reviewed what happened between November 20th and February 10th when the secretary told me the project was delayed, it's become clear that there were issues with the direction that the VA was headed. As early as December, facility staff who participated in testing were expressing concerns about the state of the product development. The concerns were compounded at super user training in mid-January when staff were confronted with the system that was not what they expected and a frustrating training process. Yet, despite being briefed by the VA on January 17th, the subcommittee was not made aware of these issues. That is hardly the transparency that we've been asking for. I know that these concerns were communicated to the program office in real time. Further, these concerns were communicated to the VA leadership at least starting on February 4th. So my question is, why was Congress left out of the loop? Did the VA think the issues identified by staff were not serious or could be solved in 2 months or less? Did the VA and Cerner not communicate about development issues? Did the VA think it's not relevant for Congress to know about conditions on the ground? Conditions on the ground were not promising for a March go live after all? I'd like to have some answers to those questions. Recently, subcommittee staff traveled to Spokane and spoke with numerous VA staff who participated in the testing and super user training about their concerns and experience. Their candor was refreshing and welcome. Clearly, there are hardworking VA staff who are committed to participate in this implementation outside of their primary responsibilities because they do want to get it right and they want to improve the care for veterans. They get the accolades for standing up and saying it wasn't working. And I'm glad that the VA management listened to their own workforce and appropriately responded by pausing implementation. There are several issues I want to get to the bottom of today. The overarching issue I see is a lack of communication between the VA and its staff, the VA and Cerner, the VA and external stakeholders, including veterans, and obviously with Congress. In addition, there are lingering concerns about staffing, infrastructure, and readiness, which according to testimony of the Office of Inspector General remain serious issues to resolve. There are questions about why VA didn't realize earlier that its commitment to a stripped down first capability set would be problematic. Were the right people involved in that decision in the first place? Were key stakeholders left out? What was communicated about the potential pitfalls of training on a system that did not have the functions and workflows that staff actually needed to learn? Was this a commercial practice that VA didn't understand the ramifications of adopting? This was a lesson learned from DoD that didn't seem to be learned by the VA. Clearly, it wasn't a practice that worked for the VA staff. VA has said that it doesn't want to initiate communications with veterans too early. But what is too early? Based on feedback from veterans and VSOs, they need information and would like to have more of it. Outreach is just starting to happen, which in my view would have been much too late had the VA intended to go live in March. So what is the plan now for external communication, given the go live is planned for July? VA is now pushing to add new capabilities to the first set. What are the ramifications of this? The subcommittee has requested an updated timeline for months, and I am again requesting it and hope to receive it soon. We also need a revised cost analysis, especially in light of the VA's budget request for EHRM. The budget request raises many concerns because it is no longer based on an accurate picture of the program. I hope that we get answers to these many questions, and I'm certain that I will have many more by the end of this hearing. It's my expectation moving forward that we will be getting more timely, accurate, and transparent information about the state of this program. And I hope the VA's intention is to start delivering that today. I would now like to recognize my colleague, Ranking Member Banks, for 5 minutes to deliver opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam